Chapter 23:16 Giant Sun Immortal Venerables Explanation. Chapter 23:16 Giant Sun Immortal Venerables Explanation. Spectral Heaven Battlefield. Boom! 7 kills. Rainbow attacked. While starlight shone around star constellation Immortal Venerable as she dodged, she was about to counterattack when she saw Fang Yuan hiding beside Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Since the battle started, this situation had already occurred about 100 times. Star constellation Immortal Venerable was no longer as peeved as she was at first. She looked at Giant Sun Immortal Venerable being attacked by hundreds of Spectral Soul's giant hands and activated a killer move, destroying tens of black hands rapidly. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable used the chance to get past the encirclement of the giant hands. Being suddenly attacked, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable changed his target to Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Star Constellation, lure the attention of Spectral Soul while I go and capture Fang Yuan. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable said quickly when he saw this. He then turned into golden light that moved rapidly past Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and towards Fang Yuan. However, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable snorted coldly. She did not stay to stall Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, leaving a star avatar while her true body retreated. The star avatar was instantly destroyed by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He then turned around and attacked Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was entrapped once again and quickly transmitted his voice to Star Constellation Immortal Venerable with some doubts. Star Constellation, what are you doing? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable directly gave Giant Sun Immortal Venerable the details of what happened in the star array calculation formation. She questioned, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, how do you explain this? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable laughed awkwardly as he realized what happened. Have you heard of the luck path theory? That luck turns better after hitting rock bottom and that fortune and misfortune coexist? This luck path killer move works like that. After it is activated, I lose all control over it. I have no idea how it will work and what effect it will show. The star array calculation formation is not destroyed. This is only a small mishap. Good luck comes after bad luck. This mishap will create a huge fortune in the near future. We should be expectant. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable sneered. Using my mishap to exchange for your fortune? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, is this what you are saying? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable choked on his words and could only say, I will compensate you for all the direct losses, but how about we discuss the specific amount after the fight? Star Constellation Immortal Venerable nodded at Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and continued to fight alongside him. She chose to believe Giant Sun Immortal Venerable that in her opinion. Although Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's standpoint was different from Heavenly Court, he placed great importance on family and had clear morals. He cherished his descendants and was very protective of them. There was a clear difference between him and Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had no limits and needed to be guarded against. His promises could not be trusted. But Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's words were believable to a degree, especially when this compensation was not the important thing. Naturally, the important thing was that in this situation, a single Venerable would not be able to deal with Fang Yuan. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable could not stand by and watch Fang Yuan absorb all the Heaven Path Dream Realms. At the star array calculation formation, Qi Ancestor stirred up countless Qi currents that were hard to block. Zhan Bu charged forward like a dragon, and no one was able to stop him. Wu Shuai controlled countless ants to infiltrate and tear the whole star array calculation formation apart. Inside Embroidered Tower, Star Constellations did everything to repair Star Constellation chessboard, while controlling Embroidered Tower to help the star array calculation formation. The star array calculation formation had very low offensive and defensive capabilities. If not for this, Giant Sun and Fang Yuan would not have stayed still as Star Constellation Immortal Venerable constructed such a formation. Despite the help of Embroidered Tower and having the Gu Immortals inside the formation space do their best to control and repair it, the star array calculation formation was still crumbling under the fierce attacks of Fang Yuan's 3 clones. Finally, several formation cores were exposed. These formation cores have immortal Gu. They are quite mysterious. My ants cannot infiltrate them. Wu Shuai transmitted his voice. Qi Ancestor and Zhanbu Du each made an attempt, but failed as well. These formation cores were covered in starlight, and it was hard to tell if they were real or fake. The attacks of Fang Yuan's clones had no effect and only shook the starlight intensely. This probably is a phantom path method. I can't do anything. Zhanbu Du shrugged that he mainly relied on incomplete freedom transformation, so he was strong in charging and breaking enemy formations, but was not good at other aspects. Qi Ancestor frowned. At this difficult time, he glanced at the Amber Jade Sphere. After this Amber Jade Sphere damaged star constellation chessboard, its aura and radiance had dimmed by a lot. Its size shrank by 60%, leaving only 20% of its initial size. How about we make use of this yellow egg killer move from Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable? Qi Ancestor had already obtained the information from the main body that he communicated with the other two clones and arranged a battle tactic. Zhanbu Du and Wu Shuai lured the attention of star constellations will, while Qi Ancestor used his Qi Path giant hand to grab the Amber Jade Sphere and throw it towards the nearest formation core. Black Heaven Temple's Gu Immortal Zhangji was in charge of this formation core. He saw the Amber Jade Sphere approaching the formation core and quickly called for help. Star constellations will notice this and immediately made a move. Embroidered Tower shot out countless Dao marks at the Amber Jade Sphere, deviating its path away from the formation core, causing it to stop nearby. The goo worms near the formation core were affected by the Amber Jade Sphere and turned chaotic. Zhang Ji was just about to suppress this emerging problem when Fang Yuan's three clones started attacking wantonly. Embroidered Tower tried to defend with all its strength, but the turbulence still affected other goo worms. Originally, whether these mortal goo died or destabilized would not have been an issue as long as the immortal goo in the formation core was safe. It was okay to just replace the mortal goo that were lost. But the actual situation was different. The destabilization and destruction of the surrounding mortal goo formed minor variables that accumulated rapidly until they threatened the immortal goo in the formation core. Zhang Ji's effort to stabilize the situation instead assisted in this. Then, under his incredulous gaze, the immortal goo in the formation core shattered directly. The immortal goo in the formation cores of the star array calculation formation were originally intact, covering up for each other and closely connected. Now that one formation core suddenly crumbled apart, it immediately revealed a huge flaw in the entire formation. Fang Yuan's three clones attacked fiercely. Star constellations could not consider anything else and had to concentrate fully on protecting the star array calculation formation. Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable. How do you explain this now? In spectral heaven, star constellation Immortal Venerable questioned again. Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable sighed. I will compensate you. Star constellation Immortal Venerable snorted coldly. Is this just an issue of compensation? Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable sighed again. Please calm down. The most important thing now is to stop Fang Yuan. Do I look like someone who can't understand the situation? Once this move is activated, it really is out of my control. We can only watch as it plays out. Your move helped Fang Yuan's clones and is already expended. It has disappeared completely. How can it trouble Fang Yuan's clones now? Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable laughed heartily. It only disappeared on the surface. The real variables are invisible and have already started to affect and change the world and all living beings. Star constellation Immortal Venerable's mind shook slightly. She was deducing and deepening her understanding of the killer move. Nothing is certain except success. Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable had shocking talent. This move went beyond common sense and was not in the category of any offensive killer move in history. It was new and unique. Then I shall wait and see. With the enemy in front, star constellation Immortal Venerable could only compromise. Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable let out a sigh of relief. In actuality, he finally could relax now that the Amber Jade Sphere had disappeared. Even if Heavenly Court suffers losses from this move in the future, there won't be any evidence. This move triggers variables in a way that is most beneficial to me. Looks like Heavenly Court is my main enemy currently, which is why this move did not affect Fang Yuan, instead helping him to deal with Heavenly Court. Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable tried to figure out the situation to eye in the space inside the star array calculation formation. Gu Immortal Zhang Ji coughed out a mouthful of blood. His face was extremely pale that he used all his strength to protect the formation core, but still failed in the end. Fang Yuan's 3 clones had already latched onto the weakness and began to increase their battle achievements. Originally, the star array calculation formation was perfect, thanks to Phantom Path, Fang Yuan's 3 clones were not able to attack it easily. But now that they had made a crucial breakthrough, there was a hole in the perfect structure, and they started to attack using it. That a Gu Immortal in charge of healing arrived in front of Zhang Ji and began to treat him. Zhang Ji was downcast as he berated himself while coughing blood. I am unworthy of Heavenly Court's support and Lady Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's trust. I lost the formation core. The healer Gu Immortal consoled him. This was all due to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's killer move. It is not your fault. Zhang Ji had an incredulous expression. This luck path killer move is truly insidious. It connected all the variables and expanded them until even the formation core Immortal Gu was harmed. It was like a scale where if one end was weighed down, the other end would rise. The formation core's Immortal Gu and the surrounding mortal Gu were like an integral whole made from countless carrying poles. But instead of raising one end when the other was pushed down, another weight was added to suppress the rising end. These 2 variables canceled each other. Nothing is certain except success acted the opposite way. It united the power of all the variables, thus destroying the formation core's Immortal Gu. After healing for a while, Zhang Ji's situation was finally stable. Over this period, another 3 formation cores of the star array calculation formation were destroyed by Fang Yuan's clones. This is all my fault. Zhang Ji blamed himself even more. He felt that the situation was crumbling apart. But at this time, another Gu Immortal arrived beside him. This was a formation path grandmaster. The situation is urgent. I came to repair the formation and will need your assistance. Zhang Ji quickly cupped his fists in greeting, expressing he would stake everything to help. Although the formation core's Immortal Gu was destroyed, this formation path grandmaster could use immortal materials to set up a formation that could temporarily replace the position of the destroyed formation core's Immortal Gu. It was not easy to construct the star array calculation formation. Star Constellations was not willing to see it be destroyed. Central Continent's 10 great sects Gu Immortals had tasted the benefits of this formation and were also not willing to see its destruction. Chapter 23:17 8 Desolate, Sword Leaf Tree. The formation grandmaster calculated with all his efforts. After a while, he said with perspiration running down his face, I need 500 kilograms of rank 8 immortal material, heavy sand, to temporarily cover the shortage of this formation core. Zhang Ji's heart sank. Heavy sand was a specialty product of Western Desert and was not produced in other 4 regions. How could he collect such a large amount of heavy sand at this moment? Just as Zhang Ji was worried, the formation grandmaster let out a breath of turbid air and said, You can get heavy sand from Heavenly Court storage, but I need someone to go to Spectral Heaven and pour at least 250 kilograms from top to bottom. At that time, we will cooperate with that person from inside the formation and fill the hole. I will go, Zhang Ji immediately said. The formation grandmaster shook his head, saying directly, Your injuries have only been suppressed, and you are too weak. If you rashly exit the formation, you will be killed by those 3 demons easily. Those 3 demons will gain clues and know the approximate location of this formation space. Then what should we do? Zhang Ji sighed bitterly. The formation grandmaster was slightly dazed as he received Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's instructions, saying, All right, be it immortal materials or manpower, Lady Star Constellation Immortal Venerable will personally make arrangements. Zhang Ji, use this time to heal your injuries quickly. I will go to the next formation core and prepare the method to fix it. The formation grandmaster left hurriedly. Zhang Ji looked at his receding figure before turning to observe his surroundings, only seeing chaos and commotion in the formation space. The Gu Immortals who were stationed here were running everywhere. Even with Star Constellation Immortal Venerables will personally attending to this place, Fang Yuan's 3 clones posed a huge threat to them. Zhang Ji could deeply feel his powerlessness. He sighed helplessly and started healing his injuries. Western Desert, Lin Clan's blessed land headquarters. Lin clan's first supreme elder, the #1 Gu immortal in the present Western Desert. Lin Jianxing walked out of the Blessed Land with 9 spiritual fairy. I wish you a smooth journey. Lin Jianxing smiled. Heavenly Court wanted Lin Jianxing's body to create Bo-Qing and restrain spectral soul demon venerable. 9 spiritual fairy and 4 other Heavenly Court Gu immortals surrounded and attacked Lin Jianxing, but suffered a miserable defeat. 9 spiritual fairy covered the retreat and was captured by Lin Jianxing, but now she was being personally released by Lin Jianxing. 9 spiritual fairies' expression was heavy. She did not feel happy when regaining freedom. She looked at Lin Jianxing and asked, "What did Heavenly Court pay you to release me?" Lin Jianxing said directly, "Star constellation Immortal Venerable places a great importance on you. I daringly to make an offer and obtained 11 8 desolate sword leaf trees fortunately. 8 desolate sword leaf tree." 9 spiritual fairies' heart became even heavier. The story behind these 8 desolate sword leaf trees was huge. They originated from Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. They were immemorial desolate plants created by the Venerable and were not a naturally produced resource. 8 desolate sword leaf tree contained a dense number of wood path Dao marks, but it grew on or mines with metal path immortal materials, and the leaves it produced were rank 8 sword path immortal materials. These 8 desolate sword leaf trees were unique resources. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable grew them personally, and only left 20 or so trees in Heavenly Court. That a number of the 8 desolate sword leaf trees died or were expended in the following period after his death. Only these 11 trees were left now, and they were all obtained by Lin Jianxing. Lin Jianxing accompanied 9 spiritual fairy till the previous regional wall area that spanned across Western Desert, Central Continent, and Northern Plains. He then watched 9 spiritual fairy leave alone. When I was negotiating with Star Constellations, we were always deadlocked over the price. I did not expect Star Constellations to suddenly be willing to hand me 11 8 desolate sword leaf trees, but they wanted me to provide 100 kilograms of heavy sand along with the release of 9 spiritual fairy. I have really made a huge gain by getting these 11 8 desolate sword leaf trees. My guess was not wrong. As long as I can gain some comprehension from them, the recreation of my sword forest will just be around the corner. Heavenly Court has too many assets and an extremely deep foundation. Even after repeated losses in battle, their foundation still cannot be matched by other super forces. What a pity that I was only able to capture 9 spiritual fairy. Otherwise, I could have demanded even more cultivation resources from Heavenly Court. The destruction of Fate Gu had a lasting influence on the whole world, and even Gu cultivators. Heavenly Court possessed the immortal graveyard. Their Gu immortals could revive after death. So it was a great battle tactic for them to seek death and not care for their life. Fang Yuan went even further in this aspect. He intentionally revived Gu immortals as Gu masters to make them undergo immortal ascension again, using stealing Heavenly Secret to make huge gains. So even if Lin Jianxing killed Heavenly Court's members, there would not be a huge grudge. They could revive anyway. On the contrary, he was able to capture 9 spiritual fairy alive and stopped her from dying, which instead became an issue for Heavenly Court. After a long period of negotiations, Heavenly Court finally redeemed this captive by giving Lin Jianxing what he wanted. It is a pity that my sword path is strong in offense, but not that proficient in capturing methods. Sigh, this world is quite extraordinary. My former world focused on cultivation methods, but this world prioritizes Gu worms, immortal essence, immortal materials, and other cultivation resources. Cultivation resources are the foundation of everything. This confrontation of venerables is the perfect time for my Lin clan to expand. If a victor is decided between the venerables and I am still not a sword path venerable, I may have no choice other than to submit to the winner. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's previous deduction was not wrong. Lin Jianxing was indeed an otherworldly demon. In his former world, he was the head of a sword sect and was known as the Grand Ancestor. Such a person was naturally not willing to be subservient. He was a person who had seen through worldly affairs and was full of ambitions. So, after Lin Jianxing defeated the 5 Heavenly Court immortals, he did not give any explanations. He was actually happy to be treated as a demonic path member. What would he, A grand sword path pseudo-venerable. Fear. Would he fear other Western desert superforces? Laughable. The ones who hoped he, Lin Jianxing, clarified that he and Lin Clan were in the righteous path were these Western desert superforces that if so, Lin Clan would be restrained under the rules of the righteous path and be unable to expand freely. But so what if he explained himself? Was Lin Clan not a righteous path superforce previously? It did not matter. Heavenly Court still attacked without a reason. This was the #1 righteous path superforce in the world. On the contrary, joining demonic path was much better for Lin Clan to annex other forces and expand wantonly. Naturally, even Lin Jianxing could not resist a venerable's attack. But did that mean he had to give up? There was no such logic in Lin Jianxing's heart. If one was weak, they needed to do everything to become stronger, to become an expert. It was because they would be bullied that they had to grab every chance to resist and become stronger. Lin Jianxing had such thoughts and did just that he had already made enough mental preparation. He would bear the responsibility even if a venerable targeted him in the future, as long as he could preserve his life. He would surrender to the venerables. He might even be lucky and get the venerable's support, making even greater achievements. After sending off 9 spiritual fairy, Lin Jianxing did not return to the headquarters, but continued to head north and entered northern plains. He turned invisible and flew rapidly, soon arriving at Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Flower Forest Forbidden Land was one of the 10 great fierce areas in northern plains and was home to countless mushrooms. These mushrooms were as large as trees, and the huge number of them formed a vast forest. All kinds of flowers bloomed in the forest. Their aroma permeated the surroundings and were dense to the point of forming fog. Every full moon, the fragrance of the flowers would condense into water droplets that flowed to the surroundings, nourishing the mushroom trees and strengthening them further, similar to all the fierce areas. Countless desolate beast groups lived here, including many immemorial desolate beasts and plants. Zui Hui had been hiding in the depths of Flower Forest Forbidden Land over these days. It was a legendary immemorial desolate beast. It was much easier and more suitable for it enter and live in fierce areas than Gu immortals. Zui Hui naturally had its plans for hiding in the Flower Forest. Its goal was Yu Tianguang, who was imprisoned by Longevity Heaven. It wanted to save the latter. Flower Forest Forbidden Land was a fierce area in northern plains that could not only hide him, but was also nearest to Longevity Heaven. I am going now. The following plan will depend on you too. Don't think of running away. You are both struck by my method and are not of Huang Jin bloodline. Who will save you? Zui Yihui did not forget to warn Lu Qingming and Su Guang before leaving. These 2 Gu immortals were really unlucky. They had wanted to escape northern plains and were heading towards western desert when they were caught by Zui Yihui midway and were brought to Flower Forest Forbidden Land. The environment in a fierce area was extremely dangerous. They could not escape with their strength. If not for Zui Yihui's protection, they would not be able to survive even a day in this fierce area. We won't dare. Our lives depend on you, Lord. We will definitely use all our strength for the plan. Lu Qingming quickly replied. Zui Yihui snorted coldly. Its huge body suddenly turned into a puddle of dark liquid that seeped into the ground and disappeared. Lu Qingming and Su Guang were helpless and could only follow Zui Yihui's instructions. They entered an immortal formation and began to activate it. The strength of the immortal formation began to spread to the surroundings. The whole process did not leak any aura and was silent. This was the specialty of Dark Path that as time passed. Many immemorial desolate beast groups in Flower Forest Forbidden Land started to get agitated. Zui Yihui had even used its methods on the leaders of these beast groups without them noticing it. Most Gu immortals would not be able to accomplish this. Zui Yihui was a Dark Path legendary immemorial beast. It could be considered as the number Gu cultivator in Dark Path in the present era, and it had used all its methods for this. Not long later, the immemorial beast groups began to roar irritatedly. Beasts lacked wisdom. They were on guard against each other and went into conflict. Thus, outbreaks started to occur. Under the influence of the immortal formation, immemorial beast groups began to run madly with their groups. They completely disrupted the order of the whole fierce area, forming a beast tide of a grand scale. This beast tide broke out of Flower Forest Forbidden Lands territory and started to rush towards the nearby Huangjin tribes. The Huangjin tribes were shaken and immediately asked Longevity Heaven for help. In this situation, Lin Jianxing arrived in the sky above Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Chapter 23:18. Giant Sun accidentally harms his son. Chapter 23:18. Giant Sun accidentally harms his son even before the Huangjin tribes asked for help. Longevity Heaven had already detected the commotion in Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Bing Sichuan was overseeing Longevity Heaven. He was having a discussion with Yao Huang and some of the 8 extremities. The commotion in the fierce area is no small matter. We have to take care of it. In my opinion, we must verify the reason for the commotion. Maybe because the sun was destroyed and spectral heaven formed. It caused light path to decline and dark path to prosper. A Flower Forest Forbidden Land has a dense number of dark path Dao marks. After the discussion, Bing Sichuan personally moved towards the fierce area to inspect the situation while the others continued to guard Longevity Heaven. The reason for this arrangement was because Bing Sichuan possessed a time path killer move that could trace an event to its source and see the truth in the past. Longevity Heaven opened its entrance as Bing Sichuan moved directly to Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Zui Yihui, who was already hiding in Spectral Heaven, was near Longevity Heaven's entrance. Saw the entrance open and close, but did not move. The opening of the entrance was indeed an excellent chance to enter the Grotto Heaven, but it was too conspicuous. Even if Zui Yihui had concealment methods, it was not easy to do this. Gu immortals were deeply concerned whenever they opened their immortal aperture. If Zui Yihui entered at this time, it was simply exposing itself and looking for trouble, and it was also underestimating Bing Sichuan. Yihui did not want to have a frontal fight. It might be a grand legendary immemorial beast, but it was nothing when compared to Longevity Heaven and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. From the start, it had not thought of forcefully intruding to save Yu Tianguang. The rescue was a technical operation. If it acted rashly, it was likely to fail and even cause himself to get captured. Yihui continued to hide and activate a killer move. This opportunity is extremely rare. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable is fighting the other 3 Venerables and has no leisure time to split his concentration. Flower Forest Forbidden Land lured away a rank 8 expert. The specific location of Longevity Heaven's entrance is also exposed. I must make the best use of this time. Zui Yihui and Yu Tianguang had a mysterious connection. Relying on this connection, Zui Yihui's dark path killer move gradually showed a miraculous effect. Inside Longevity Heaven, Yu Tianguang was imprisoned in Calamity Luck Altered. Suddenly having a sensation, Yu Tianguang lowered its head and looked at its heart. Shortly after, it reacted, roaring and struggling fiercely. Calamity Luck Alter shook constantly. The 8 extremities, who were guarding outside, saw this and quickly acted to suppress Yu Tianguang. Yu Tianguang, you have tried so many times, but still haven't realized that you can't escape Calamity Luck Alter by yourself. Surrendering to my Longevity Heaven is your only way out. As long as you surrender to Longevity Heaven, you will be protected by Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Yu Tianguang roared furiously. Return my light goo. The 8 extremities persuaded. Yu Tianguang, light goo has always been a wild goo. It only resided in your body temporarily. How can you call it yours? That's correct. Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable won against 2 Venerables and seized this goo. It belongs to my Longevity Heaven now. You should be grateful to Lord Immortal Venerable and his son. If not for them, you would have already been killed by Star Constellation or Fang Yuan. Yu Tianguang's aura declined rapidly from their suppression, but it still shouted, "Return my light goo, and I will consider surrendering." The few 8 extremities looked at each other before shaking their heads and strengthening the suppression power of Calamity Luck Altered. Finally, Yu Tianguang exhausted all its strength and gave up with reluctance, hatred, and anger as it was suppressed. But this time, it had a new hope. "Brother, I am coming to save you. Let's discuss the plan first." A lump of black liquid flowed out of Yu Tianguang's heart and turned into the appearance of a mini Zui Yihui. Yihui paused for a moment before continuing. "My killer move has gone through modification and will continue to accumulate strength inside your body. When it has accumulated enough strength, You can use my strength to erupt with all your power. At that time, I will coordinate with you from outside longevity heaven and open a hole in longevity heaven. Yu Tianguang did not feel at ease. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable cannot be underestimated. Be careful of him. You must not trap yourself. Zui Yihui informed Yu Tianguang of the current situation that Yu Tianguang was exalted. The chaotic battle of four venerables will probably last for a long time. This is indeed the best time for me to escape. It is a pity that your arrangements in Flower Forest Forbidden Land only lured away Bing Saichuan. Longevity Heaven is probably cautious because of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's 3 clones are wreaking havoc in Central Continent, and the star array calculation formation is already damaged. Zui Yihui analyzed. The 2 legendary immemorial beasts conversed secretly. No one in Longevity Heaven sensed it. Bing Saichuan quietly landed in Flower Forest Forbidden Land that he searched all the way and traced the aura to its source. Gradually nearing the area where Zui Yihui set up the immortal formation, there is trouble. Lu Qingming and Su Guang, who were controlling the formation, sensed Bing Saichuan early on, but their expressions were heavy as they knew the severity of the situation. Once they were discovered by Bing Saichuan, there would be no way for them to escape. The 2 had thought of surrendering, but they were under the control of Zui Yihui's Dark Path method. As long as they even tried to surrender, the Dark Path method would trigger and take their lives. They too had to continue to activate the immortal formation and enlarge the scale of the beast tide. They could not stop for even a while. Otherwise, the Dark Path method would similarly trigger and kill them directly. Zui Yihui is using us as cannon fodder. Sigh. I did not expect today that we will die today. Just as the 2 were in despair, the situation suddenly took a turn for the better. Who is it? Bing Saichuan stopped, his gaze emitting cold light as he became vigilant. Lin Jianxing's mind jolted slightly. He had come to Flower Forest Forbidden Land secretly and was concealed. His goal was to gather some precious and rare immortal materials to help him complete the Sword Forest Killer move. But then, the beast tide occurred. This was a good thing for Lin Jianxing. The chaotic situation was much more suitable for him to look for benefits. The Lin Jianxing entered deep inside the fierce area and ran into Bing Saichuan. Although he had pseudo-venerable battle strength, he was not proficient at concealment methods. Fortunately, Bing Saichuan looked around a few times before shaking his head. Maybe I was wrong? Bing Saichuan whispered softly before continuing forward while inspecting the area. He did not notice any suspicious interference in this beast tide, but he also did not find the reason for the beast tide's outbreak. That he followed the traces to their source and gradually neared the Dark Path immortal formation. Right at this time, a group of 4-legged white scale snake flew over. The white scale snakes had already turned mad. When they discovered Bing Saichuan, they attacked immediately without thinking. Bing Saichuan's pupils shrank and was about to kill these snakes when a ray of sword chi shot towards him from the left. Bing Saichuan was not surprised and quickly acted to block the sword chi, while saying to Lin Jianxing, who had revealed himself, I knew there was someone there. Lin Jianxing. Bing Saichuan recognized Lin Jianxing that after the 5 Heavenly Court Immortals lost to Lin Jianxing, his appearance was already spread widely. Bing Saichuan naturally knew of him. Bing Saichuan's brows furrowed tightly. Lin Jianxing, do you want to stand against my longevity heaven? Lin Jianxing frowned, but he looked at the group of white scale snakes. These white scale snakes' tongues are sword path immortal materials that I required. I came for them this time. Bing Saichuan, I seek your understanding. Is that so? Bing Saichuan was doubtful, but Lin Jianxing was a pseudo-venerable after all. He did not want to start a fight rashly. These white scale snakes' tongues are indeed rare resources. But don't worry, Lin Jianxing. Longevity Heaven has many of them in our storage. If you are interested, I am willing to deepen our friendship and gift them to you. Oh. Lin Jianxing raised his brows slightly. He was just about to consider when a large group of immemorial desolate beasts rushed towards this area. The scene became chaotic immediately. The white scale snakes were only ancient desolate beasts. They were not the match of these immemorial desolate beasts. But it was too late to escape now. Their formation was scattered by the immemorial desolate beasts. Lin Jianxing attacked these immemorial desolate beasts, and retrieved as many white scale snake tongues as he could. Bing Sichuan observed from the side, while urgently contacting Longevity Heaven to mobilize the harem palaces of Northern Plains and Western Desert. He would not easily believe Lin Jianxing's one-sided statement. It was much safer to use immortal goo houses to face a pseudo-venerable. Back then, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable gathered beauties and constructed 5 harem palaces in the 5 regions, which were all immortal goo houses. A few members of the 8 extremities received the command and immediately flew out of Longevity Heaven with the immortal goo houses. Dao Yihui was doubtful and happy at this sight. In fact, Lu Qingming and Su Guang still being concealed at this point was already beyond Zhuo Yihui's expectations. Right now, Longevity Heaven sent 2 immortal goo houses and several goo immortals. Their direction was clearly Flower Forest Forbidden Land. Yihui could not understand what was going on. But no matter what, his situation had become better than before. After a while, Yu Tianguang roared fiercely, erupting with the accumulated dark path strength and catching the 8 extremities, who were guarding this place off guard. Yu Tianguang seized this chance and attacked. After 10 breaths of time of stalemate, it was able to charge out of calamity. Luck altered. It did not escape immediately. Instead, it followed its sense towards a secluded area that the 8 extremities left behind were pale with fright. Oh no, that is where our prince is resting. Yao Huang had already come out of Blood Sea and wanted to stop Yu Tianguang, but he was a step late. He watched with the newly arrived Mao Li Qiu as Yu Tianguang took Light Emperor and left. That Light Emperor was nourishing rank 9 light goo with his body. Even under such a drastic situation, he was still like a statue with his eyes closed, as if he had lost all perception towards the outside world. Don't provoke me, or I may crush him to death. Yu Tianguang roared loudly. The encircling goo immortals hesitated and were in a dilemma. Don't kill him. Otherwise, when Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable returns, you will definitely die. Yu Tianguang, everything can be discussed. Please calm down. Quick, call Bing Sichuan and the others to come back. While the Longevity Heaven goo immortals were panicking, Yu Tianguang made a move. Yihui also came out of hiding in the outside world. The two had a high degree of coordination, directly tearing open a hole in Longevity Heaven. This hole was not large, but Yu Tianguang had an amazing method. He first swallowed Light Emperor before transforming his body into a lump of light that forced its way through the hole and into the outside world. After appearing in the outside world, the light changed back into Yu Tianguang. Longevity Heaven's goo immortals gave chase and arrived outside. They saw Yu Tianguang, and their expressions turned unsightly when they saw Zhuo Yihui as well. We fell for their trap. Yao Huang stomped his foot in anger. After Bing Sichuan received the news, he looked at Lin Jianxing with narrowed eyes. So it was like this. Brother Lin actually joined hands with Zhuo Yihui. What do you mean? Lin Jianxing was baffled that in the battlefield over the Heaven Path Dream Realms, what? Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had been concentrating on fighting Fang Yuan when he heard this bad news. This situation seems to be created by my nothing is certain except success killer move. The vague luck path sensation stupefied Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. The Giant Sun Immortal Venerable wanted to explain the situation to himself, but he was not able to. My killer move should not have a problem, right? I rarely used it in my previous life. I have modified this move recently. Indeed, there should be probably not much of an issue. Giant Sun, what happened? As the #1 person in Wisdom Path, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was very perceptive towards the changes of emotions. She asked directly, nothing. There is no issue. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable shook his hands repeatedly while feeling bitter inwardly. Chapter 2319, Star Constellation Admits Defeat. Chapter 2319, Star Constellation Admits Defeat. Heaven and earth was torn apart like a huge, open-mouthed, endless lightning exploded and resisted the fierce tornadoes. Meng Qiuzhen floated in the air and observed the land. Lightning, come. He shouted, and at the next moment, tens of thousands of lightning balls fell from the sky and collided with the tornadoes, causing huge explosions. 10 or so tornadoes were destroyed, but there were still about 100 tornadoes which connected the small world sky and ground like giant pillars. Meng Qiuzhen gritted his teeth as he recognized the crucial point. He had to find the location of this dream realm's land spirit as soon as possible and attack it. Otherwise, with so many tornadoes, even if he destroyed all of them, he would have used all his strength, which was detrimental to his future dream realm explorations. With the main body's protection, after experiencing that thrilling moment before, Meng Qiuzhen did not run into any more mishaps. He continued to explore the Heaven Path dream realms, not only raising his Heaven Path attainment level greatly, but also raising his strength in the dream realm immortal aperture. He became a heavenly spirit, and his methods were at a completely different level than before. Meng Qiuzhen could now control heavenly power and produce strength similar to calamities and tribulations. Moreover, he also found that Heaven Path dream realms could annex each other, constantly bringing him risks as well as opportunities in the explorations. Ice, come. Meng Qiuzhen seized the timing. His two small hands spread apart and pressed down. Hailstones rained down heavily from the sky. The hailstones continued to grow bigger every moment. Some of them were even as large as a hill in just a few breaths of time. These hailstones fell on the tornadoes and were rapidly swept away. The dark green tornadoes were soon covered by a layer of bluish-white frost, and their speed fell sharply. So it was here Meng Qiuzhen succeeded in weakening the enemy and discovered that there was a white feather-flying fish hiding in the leftmost tornado. This white feather-flying fish was the heavenly spirit of the other dream realm immortal aperture. Heaven Path dream realms could annex each other. This current manifestation was the result of the two dream realm immortal apertures annexing each other as the heavenly spirit of a dream realm immortal aperture. Meng Qiuzhen had to lead his dream realm immortal aperture to suppress the other side's dream realm immortal aperture and even annex it. There was a crucial step in this. That was to find the other side's heavenly spirit and exterminate it. Meng Qiuzhen used one method after the other. The flying fish heavenly spirit got dizzy from seeing all the attacks. The lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, storm brewed, meteors fell, and lava gushed out. All kinds of attacks were thrown out before the flying fish heavenly spirit was finally exterminated. Without the control of the heavenly spirit, the tornadoes still existed, but were moving disorderly instead of being orderly like before, immediately becoming non-threatening. At the same time, Meng Qiuzhen's dream realm immortal aperture also quickened the pace of annexing the enemy dream realm immortal aperture. With the flying fish heavenly spirit dead, it was like the opposing army's commander was beheaded. They would fall into disorder and be defeated no matter how strong they were. Meng Qiuzhen followed up his victory and finally expanded his dream realm immortal aperture by another area. There is a huge rise in wind path down marks. The outcome is pretty good. Another dream realm immortal aperture is coming close. Meng Qiuzhen had not even rested when he saw an indistinct red shadow appear outside the dream realm immortal aperture. The indistinct red shadow covered the sky and ground, obscuring the sun and moon. A huge explosion resounded as it collided with Meng Qiuzhen's dream realm immortal aperture. The immortal aperture's boundary was broken as the two dream realm immortal apertures connected to each other and started a brutal annexing process. Wait. This heavenly spirit is different. Meng Qiuzhen's expression changed slightly as he discovered that the enemy was extremely shrewd and could adapt to the situation easily with plenty of methods that were not fewer than Meng Qiuzhen's. Don't tell me. Profound literature grotto heaven, chi tides surged and formed tens of thousands of chi monsters everywhere, forming a huge calamity. A large number of mortals in profound literature grotto heaven became corpses under the rampage of the chi monsters. Damn it. We must persevere. These chi monsters are coming endlessly. When will it stop? The Gu immortals of profound literature grotto heaven used all their strength to defend. Old immortal Hua, you personally entered the battle and was barely able to hold the situation. This was not a heavenly tribulation or earthly calamity. It was the Chi Path killer move that Chi Si ancestor used to attack the star array calculation formation. The star array calculation Formation had a large number of formation cores after a number of the formation core's immortal goo were destroyed by Fang Yuan's 3 clones. The formation bases were exposed. These formation bases were profound literature grotto heaven, skeleton grotto heaven, and so on. As long as these grotto heavens were destroyed, the star array calculation formation would lose its foundation and collapse completely. If we had known this earlier, why would we try all means possible to defect? Sigh. It is already too late to say this. We can only hope that Lady Star Constellation Immortal Venerable has enough methods to protect our homeland. These grotto heaven goo immortals were feeling regret to some extent. Rumble. An explosion rang. Chi currents rampaged like 10,000 horses as Chi Si ancestor gradually appeared inside skeleton grotto heaven. Granny Skeleton was in despair, but before she even asked for help, many rank 8 heavenly court goo immortals arrived in skeleton grotto heaven in immortal goo houses. Without any delay, a huge battle erupted. Heaven and earth shook. Chi Si rose. Golden lights flew. Jade water floated in the sky. A large number of killer moves were activated, their aftershock creating huge casualties. Immortal killer move. Unlimited Chi Si. Chi Si ancestor continued to gather his momentum before finally using this move. With one move, heaven and earth was overturned. Several immortal goo houses of heavenly court were damaged heavily. One even crumbled apart. Qin Ding Ling and the rest coughed blood repeatedly from the serious injuries. Hold on. Qin Dingling shouted, "Watch this." Che Wei tried bravely to use offense against offense. Chi Si ancestor was struck by his killer move and suffered some injuries. Immortal killer move. Chi Ju revival. At the next moment, a large number of Chi Path immortal materials was expended as Chi Si ancestor recovered rapidly. The heavenly court goo immortals turned pale. Let's end this. Chi Si ancestor gave a shout and activated the killer move. Hu elevation. Towering and terrifying Chi pillars shot out, directly piercing through skeleton grotto heaven. Granny Skeleton's eyes were wide open and had no time to dodge. She was annihilated by the Chi pillar with not even a small piece of her remaining. Skeleton grotto heaven was heavily damaged and started to produce the winds of assimilation. The heavenly court goo immortals left from the large hole, while Chi Si ancestor gave chase. The star constellations will saw this from inside embroidered tower and was about to make a move when Zhanbu Du charged inside the formation space. It is here after all. Wu Shuai was happy. He controlled ants to infiltrate the depths of the star array calculation formation and forcibly drilled a pathway from which Zhan Du squeezed inside. The goo immortals inside the formation space were mostly from 10 great ancient sects. Although they were all elites, they were still far from reaching the level of Heavenly Court's members. Even the Heavenly Court goo immortals could not easily fight a pseudo-venerable, let alone them. Zhanbu Du was like a tiger entering a herd of sheep. Blood started to flow instantly. The star constellations will heaved a sigh. She could only give up on targeting Chi Si ancestor and activated embroidered tower to block Zhanbu Du. After a period of stalemate, Fang Yuan's 3 clones finally created an opening and started destroying the star array calculation formation as easily as cutting bamboo. The heavenly court was beaten back again and again without getting any chance to stabilize their footing. This news immediately reached star constellation Immortal Venerable. A star constellation Immortal Venerable sighed as she activated 2 human path killer moves. One was heroes among people, and the other was hope of the people. The Divine Emperor City, which was the largest human vein node of central continent, released countless white light. The countless specks and lumps of light were like lanterns or candles. These lights moved like fish or birds returning to their homes, landing in all of the goo immortals inside the star array calculation formation, forming a dense white radiance. The white radiance started to shrink, while the goo immortals' auras started to grow. Just like in the Fate War, they received a huge amplification once again. As expected, star constellation Immortal Venerable used this move. It hasn't crossed Lord Alliance leaders' calculations. Lu Weiyin was watching Divine Emperor City from some distance with a moved expression. She is using the same ability again. It means she ran out of tricks. Shen Shang smiled lightly as he attacked Divine Emperor City with Lu Weiyin. Genesis Lotus, Will, and Qing Chou were guarding Divine Emperor City. As they were attacked by two experts, they could only stop supporting the two human path killer moves and defend themselves. A spectral heaven battlefield, the white radiance formed from the human path killer, moves similarly. Covered giant sun immortal venerable and star constellation immortal venerable that the two received the amplification. Their strength rose by a huge degree. As expected of human path methods, even a venerable like me can benefit from it. Giant sun immortal venerable clicked his tongue in praise. Star constellation immortal venerable frowned. There are almost no heaven path dream realms left. We lost this battle. Chapter 23:20. Like it was nothing. Chapter 23:20. Like it was nothing. The battle over the heaven path dream realms was started by Fang Yuan. In this battle, Fang Yuan revealed new killer moves like Arrival of Dragon Snake with Dust Fog and Explosive Soul Wind, Shocking Departure of Year Dream Wave and Dang Hun Sound, and Heavenly Ghost Concealment, 7 Kills Rainbow, Sword Tongue Dragon Soul, and other killer moves were greatly improved. And there were also obscured Heavenly Secret and Heavenly Web Protection Veil that was supporting Fang Yuan secretly. Thus, Fang Yuan gained the upper hand in the battle. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had no choice but to join hands to match him. However, because Fang Yuan needed to protect Meng Qiuzhan, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, who had Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream Killer move, gradually gained the initiative. At the same time, Fang Yuan's strength made Giant Sun Immortal Venerable wary. And no matter how Fang Yuan tried to persuade him, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was firm on stopping Fang Yuan from obtaining the Heaven Path Dream Realms. As a result, Fang Yuan ordered his subordinates to attack Central Continent's important areas to harass Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. A Star Constellation Immortal Venerable saw through Fang Yuan's plan and did not return to defend Central Continent, but to continue hiding his strength and pretend to have a shortage of immortal essence. Fang Yuan angered Spectral Soul Demon Venerable and lured him into battle. He used Heavenly Ghost Concealment killer move to become half an alliance made of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Fang Yuan's scheme succeeded. Because of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable disrupting the situation, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable were not able to emit enough pressure on Fang Yuan. But conversely, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was continued to be interrupted by Fang Yuan and had no more opportunities to harm Meng Qiuzhan. Even when Star Constellation Immortal Venerable used two powerful human path killer moves, it was hard to change the battle situation. The battle situation was in a stalemate, and as time passed, Heaven Path Dream Realms annexed each other and were mostly absorbed by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's gains in this battle far surpassed Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, and on the contrary, among the two venerables, one lost his eldest son and rank 9 light Gu, while the others painstakingly created the star array calculation formation was almost destroyed. Over 10 Central Continent Gu immortals were killed, and even Heavenly Quartz Gu immortals were in a dangerous situation. This made Star Constellation Immortal Venerable come to a complete realization. Fang Yuan had won a huge victory in this battle, and no matter how miserable he looked now, he was the person who reaped the most benefits. Whether Fang Yuan still has trump cards or not, or if he really lacks immortal essence, at the end of it, the crucial factor of this battle was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable looked at the heavily injured Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. She was reluctant, furious, and also helpless. Since long ago, she had wanted to get rid of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, but never succeeded. There was a good opportunity before, but Fang Yuan disturbed them. It was mainly thanks to Fang Yuan that Spectral Soul Demon Venerable could still stay alive. In this battle, Fang Yuan used Spectral Soul Demon Venerable to obtain huge gains. This proved how far-sighted he was. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's injuries were mostly received in place of Fang Yuan. He had less than 1,000 arms left. His enormous body had shrunk by 60%, and even his roar sounded hoarse and soft. Maybe this is a chance to get rid of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable had this thought. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable was a huge obstruction that although star constellation Immortal Venerable controlled spectral soul demon Venerable before, she was much clearer than others that spectral soul demon Venerable, who was filled with heavens, could not longer be controlled by her. Sometimes, star constellation Immortal Venerable admired Fang Yuan's craftiness and sinisterness. He was able to successfully turn spectral soul demon Venerable into half an alliance mate that although spectral soul demon Venerable had lost his senses, under Fang Yuan's heavenly ghost concealment killer move, he was even more dependable than ordinary alliance mates, and was also easier to be made use of. Star constellation Immortal Venerable then looked at giant sun Immortal Venerable. Although the two venerables had allied, there was always deep vigilance between giant sun Immortal Venerable and her. Looking back at this battle, even though giant sun Immortal Venerable used his full strength, it was of little effect on Fang Yuan. It instead cost Central Continent a lot. The comparison showed a stark contrast that star constellation Immortal Venerable would rather have the irrational spectral soul demon Venerable as her alliance mate than be allies with a sane giant sun Immortal Venerable. But if she wanted to get rid of spectral soul demon Venerable now, she still had to get giant sun Immortal Venerable's help. That star constellation Immortal Venerable immediately transmitted her voice. Giant sun, there is no need to care about Fang Yuan now. Let's join hands to get rid of spectral soul demon Venerable. As you can see from the current situation, we cannot let this Venerable continue living. Giant sun Immortal Venerable deeply agreed with these words. He felt that they were not able to deal with Fang Yuan mainly because of spectral soul demon Venerable. These two's combination truly gave him a headache. Naturally, Fang Yuan could ally with spectral soul demon Venerable because of heavenly ghost concealment killer move. As long as this move was broken, it was the same as breaking the alliance between Fang Yuan and spectral soul. But giant sun Immortal Venerable was also aware that even if he broke it this time, Fang Yuan could continue to modify it. Fang Yuan was a refinement path Venerable. Giant sun Immortal Venerable did not think highly of his modification abilities before, but after this battle, giant sun Immortal Venerable, who was baptized by killer moves like shocking departure of Year Dream Wave and Dang Hun Sound and arrival of Dragon Snake, with dust fog and explosive soul wind, changed his perception fully. Right now, in his opinion, Fang Yuan's wisdom path attainment was already above him even when looking at all the venerables. Besides limitless demon Venerable, Fang Yuan was right below star constellation Immortal Venerable. So, giant sun Immortal Venerable did not want to play the pointless game of unraveling, modifying, then unraveling again before modifying again with Fang Yuan. It is a good idea indeed to kill spectral soul demon Venerable. We can end this problem once and for all. Fang Yuan will have no alliance mate left. Giant sun Immortal Venerable transmitted his reply to star constellation. Moreover, Fang Yuan lacks immortal essence right now, but we are different. It will be much more difficult for him to protect spectral soul demon Venerable now. If he exhausts all his strength to protect the latter, he may land in a predicament with just a slight carelessness. At that time, we can then target him and even create an opportunity to behead this heaven-refining demon Venerable. Star constellation Immortal Venerable was not as optimistic as giant sun Immortal Venerable. She replied, Fang Yuan will never throw himself in a predicament to protect spectral soul. The two venerables reached a consensus and focused all their attacks on spectral soul demon Venerable. They made this decision indeed. Fang Yuan revealed a troubled expression but was getting increasingly excited inwardly. The spectral soul demon Venerable fought fiercely with the two venerables, and with Fang Yuan's help from the side, both sides would suffer. But in the end, spectral soul demon Venerable would probably die. After all, spectral soul demon Venerable was filled with heavens while that he did not have any sanity and used immortal killer moves randomly. It was really too much of a disadvantage. But like this, giant sun Immortal Venerable and star constellation Immortal Venerable would also be weakened greatly. This was a great opportunity to get rid of two venerables. As long as they did not escape to their headquarters, Fang Yuan had certainty to kill one of them with his full strength. That star constellation Immortal Venerable wanted to kill spectral soul demon Venerable, but giant sun Immortal Venerable was thinking of a chance to get rid of Fang Yuan. while Fang Yuan was also plotting to get rid of the two-The spectral soul demon venerable was attacked by the full strength of the two venerables. His injuries continued to become more severe. Many of his large black arms were broken, leaving behind only 300 go. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable suddenly threw a golden meteor. The meteor struck spectral soul demon venerable and destroyed one of his heads out of his 3 heads. Only one remained now. He was forced into a desperate situation with danger everywhere around him, but Fang Yuan still attacked steadily, deliberately maintaining the frequency of his attacks. The spectral soul demon venerable roared furiously. A large blue fire burned on his body. But this fire was not burning hot. Instead, it let out a strong chill. The temperature dropped rapidly. Rank 9 fire goo finally could not sit still. It felt the danger to its host's life and finally used its strength. It was rank 9 after all. All 3 venerables retreated, even Fang Yuan, who had heavenly ghost concealment, was the same. Fang Yuan relied on this killer move to deceive spectral soul demon venerable, but he could not deceive rank 9 fire goo. After all, it was a goo worm and not a soul beast. A spectral soul demon venerable remained still. The blue fire quickly spread, forcing the 3 venerables to continue retreating. The fire expanded towards the heaven path dream realms. The dream realms shrunk rapidly and were actually being burned. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with a sharp light as he thought. The legends of Renzu stated that dream realms are restrained by fire goo. Looks like it is true. He felt that it was a pity that while fighting with the venerables, his heaven path attainment level had already advanced from Grandmaster to Great Grandmaster level. Moreover, he had not just stepped into Great Grandmaster. His accumulation was already deep and robust. If Fang Yuan absorbed all of the heaven path dream realms here, he might even be able to advance to Supreme Grandmaster level. Even if he could not, he had a high possibility of becoming a quasi-Supreme Grandmaster. However, most of the remaining heaven path dream realms were destroyed by fire goo. This is an opportunity. Giant Sun. Looking at this scene, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable started preparing Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream Killer move. That Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not protect Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. Instead, charging towards the heaven path dream realms. Fang Yuan immediately fell into a dilemma of advancing or retreating. Within the spark of a moment, he made a decision. He gave up on Star Constellation Immortal Venerable and pounced upon Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was blocked by Fang Yuan. The 2 venerables fought fiercely. In this process, the heaven path dream realms were burned by the fire. There was almost none left, be it Fairy Zi Wei, Ing Wu Xie, or Meng Qiuzhen. They were all burning. While Fang Yuan obstructed Giant Sun, he was also getting closer to the heaven path dream realms. Seeing this, he immediately gave up on Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and went in the direction of his dream path clone. Meng Qiuzhen's eyes were closed and would not wake up in a short while. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable saw Fang Yuan ignoring him and leaving. He shouted in fury, "Fang Yuan, such audacity! I will make you pay." At the next moment, hundreds of golden meteors shot out together. Their power was so terrifying that even heaven and earth changed colors at the same time. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable finally finished preparing her killer move and activated Chaotic Intent Dispels Dream. As she directly attacked Meng Qiuzhen, bam 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 bam. The golden meteors struck Fang Yuan and Meng Qiuzhen. Explosions rang continuously, shaking the world. Terrifying air waves rampaged in every direction. The golden lights dissipated. Fang Yuan and Meng Qiuzhen were moving down extremely quickly. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's eyes almost popped out. Fang Yuan was not even injured at all. What kind of defensive killer move was this? Oh no. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's expression changed greatly. Fang Yuan was headed towards Central Continent. As for Meng Qiuzhen, he was already awake and had activated Dream Armor goo to protect himself. At the same time, his body was covered by a layer of rippling reverse flow protection seal. Through Fang Yuan's modification, reverse flow protection seal could help others as well and was not limited to himself. With 2 layers of defense, Meng Qiuzhen, just like the main body, took on Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's killer move like it was nothing.